Hey people, Injured here, 3v3, other Flame Temple, blue team. A couple of Eldar players. First up we have Zenobian plays an Eldar Farseer support commander that fights in melee combat. Lots of great buffs with some debuffs and crowd control too. Alongside, greenelite is an Eldar Warlock melee commander with awesome disruption and mobility, can also tank damage with the right war gear, some offensive spells also. And rounding off the blue team is the Phoenician, plays a force commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. Red team, it's Bring the Pain, playing a plague champion, starts at range combat with this damage over time bolter, can get melee weapons, some decent utility and support, can build turrets and repair but is very slow. Alongside, Durazell is a Apothecary support commander that fights in melee combat by default, begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura. And rounding out the teams is Sheffyy, plays a big angry Warboss melee commander that walks through cover, very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines. So it's Warboss and Apothecary mid for red team versus Warlock and a force commander. Pretty interesting stuff, we'll see how it plays out. Lots of very good disruption early on for blue team with the Warlock jumping around on the force commander's battle cry. Warboss not too bad either with his stomp. He's weighing in first, sluggers forced off early on. Really hard for sluggers to make an impact in a kind of 2v2 fight like that. Banshees are going to wipe on retreat also. Or are they? Yes they are. Here comes some more Howling Banshees. Those were Zenobian's Banshees, I believe, who brought them into the center. Didn't even see what was going on there until they went down. Ill-informed push. But otherwise, blue team did pretty well. If they can come and bash this, then that Banshee loss wouldn't be so bad. Meanwhile, west side, without the Banshees here, Zenobian forced off. I'm going to get a turret very quickly from the Plague Champion, Heretics capping, and some Chaos Space Marines there. So, no quick tier 1.5 unit for Bring the Pain, because he's spending 30 power to get this turret up. Back it up with some Noise Marines or maybe Raptors to push ahead and disrupt range stuff, we'll see. One of the generators goes down here, Destructor going off, Howling Banshees now moving in amongst the Sluggers. Sluggers taking tons of damage. That's a pretty good Destructor. Those Sluggers are going to wipe, I think, are they? Banshees, yes they do wipe. Banshees do get away. They were stomped by the Warboss, which forced them off. So that's a decent trade. Took a generator and the Slugger squad. Blue team lost Howling Banshees, and Zenobian is not replacing them. It looks like he's gone for an extra Dire Offender squad and a Guardian weapon team, and greenelite going for double Guardian weapon teams. And we know how good that is. The Phoenician with some tactical marines on the field and nothing else. Straight into assault marines perhaps. Lots of DACA from the double big shooter. No, single. Yes, we do have double big shooter boys. Grenade is dodged nicely, split his forces there. Good play from Sheffyy, and the Warboss is decapping this contested wreck point, and red team now taking over the mid. Was a decent push from blue team, but you are usually punished quite badly for your pushes towards power on this map. This one and this one. All of the natural powers pretty risky to push against. They did well, got away without too many losses, and they could come back into the field. 488, 412. I think a webway gate in the middle from one of the Eldar players would help greatly. Help with the mobility of their team. We have sniper scouts from the Phoenician, who's gone for some devastators, in fact, not assault marines. Here come Howling Banshees with aspect of strength. Warboss is charging in through allied scouts, which is, they're not too pleased about it. They lost the model there. That's angry bits, allowing the Warboss to charge like that, but it doesn't counter suppression. You're still suppressed while you're charging in. 481, 412. Warlock goes down in retreat. Messy engagement for all. Banshees with an awesome special attack, but they are outnumbered here. Double shooters bringing a DACA and some assault marines for Durazell, who has the customized Stormbolter. There's a heal going off on his assault marines. A staggered jump. Actually working out quite well, disrupting the Guardian weapon team twice there. Devastators are set up though, and the assault marines forced off. Perhaps should have backed off there instead of jumping. It's always so tempting to jump in your jump trooper though. Force Commander will revive the Warlock, which doesn't quite level him. No war gear there. We have a Farseer who's down. We have some Nurgle worship with a turret and Havocs. He's really setting up shop here, but needs to push through this Guardian weapon team to cap maybe some Raptors on the field. Or some Noise Marines try and flank around with heretics and distract and disrupt stuff. Or maybe not, just call your Orc bodies over with some shooters. Fully upgraded double shooters put out insane piercing damage in tier 1. That's 45 power spent on each squad though, so not cheap for Sheffyy. And as you can see, he's got nothing else on the field apart from his Warboss with the enhanced custom shooter and those angry bits. Turns to engage the Force Commander now. He gets another revive. He's well into level 2 now. Farseer has the Doombringer and the Ghost Helm. A pretty nasty combo. Almost goes down immediately again though. Tactical Marines here suppressed by those Havocs. This layered suppression is quite nasty. As you can see, the Plague Champion's heavy bolter turret covers quite a wide firing arc, slightly wider than the Tech Marines, I believe. Doesn't seem to suppress as fast or do as much damage though. Devastators suppressing the heretics. You have got grenade launchers up alongside the aspiring champion. What's going on mid though? It's kicking off. Hounding Banshees in amongst assault marines. How often does that happen in tier 1? These guys now jumping, tying up the Guardian weapon team, and red team should be able to push through and start retaking mid. This power's got 2 generators on it, so they might want to either destroy that or steal it and maybe push something else. Warboss is going to decap here, and they're in fact ignoring that power, going for the natural. Warlock is getting the Merciless Witchblade. Expected that slightly sooner, but here it is. Such an awesome tier 1 weapon. Drains energy, knocks back on ranged attacks, and does a fair amount of damage too. It is going after the Warboss. Smack. Somebody's jumping again. I don't think he's setting up counter initiation very well. I suppose relying on the Force Command here, which paid off kind of, but he needs his Banshees hanging around his Shuriken to be there ready when the Assault Marine is jumping in. Retreat grenades, which completely missed from Zenobian. Fully kitting out his Farseer, level 1 in tier 1. Has the rune armor now, 418, 372, double cap, and floating tons of requisition in tier 2 is Zenobian. Maybe a Wraith Lord up to come and smack on this turret before las cannons and stuff start making an appearance. Plague Champion's getting a Plague Fist. There's a Nurgle Shrine going up. 400, 372. Sheffyy getting some Storm Boys in tier 2. So perhaps an instant Nob Leader on there to make them incredibly dangerous very, very quickly. These are Zenobian's Dire Avengers, who both have the aspect of the Avenger, and so does Green Elite. Dreadnought on the field for the Phoenician with some more tactical marines. Also, he's really ramping it up quickly in tier 2 as the Thunderhammer also to disrupt and deal with those enemy assault marines, and will be good versus the Warboss himself, of course, because that tracking special, even if a enemy melee commander runs past you trying to go after something else, will still affect them with your special attack with that hammer. That was a Psychic Storm from the Farseer, but she got a bit too excited there and didn't back off when she was getting shot to bits and goes down. Warp Throw, I think, would be pretty decent here. It does really well, I find, on this map because of the big 2v2 fights. So you have a lot of stuff to throw each engagement usually. So Marco Zinchkel Space Marines shooting the crap out of Banshees, who use their washout and then flee. Plague Champion is there also, and he has Armor of Pestilence and a Mucus Discharge, so he's very slow and very tough and pretty tasty in melee combat with the Plague Fist. I think it's 72 DPS heavy melee with the awesome Pestilence Strike. 391, 372 Shuriken forced off by the Plague Champion. As you saw there, he actually moves comparatively very quickly when he's suppressed. Plague Marines also have that trait, so he has really awesome natural suppression defense because he also fires his weapons at normal rate when suppressed. Another trait he shares with Plague Marines. So he has some really awesome passives going for him, the Plague Champion. 391, 372. Shooter boys. Are they going to get a model off those tactical marines? No, they're not that lucky. West side, meanwhile. Farseer back on her feet. Is not level 2 yet, but is decapping the VP. And has a Wraith Lord smacking on the turret. And that had the las cannon as well. That is an awesome anti-vehicle turret, but it is going to go down there. Kicking off mid. Here's the Dreadnought from the Phoenician. He's keeping it in melee at the moment. Starts off with his 2 close combat weapons. An enemy Dreadnought from Durazell with the assault cannon is up. What do we have in terms of AV? No sign of a las cannon, no sign of missile launchers. We do have a missile launcher for Durazell's tactical marines. No sign of combat stems, but we do have improved medical equipment and a melter, yes. Wraith Guard on the field for Zenobian. Good natural synergy with the Farseer because she can use her starting guide ability. And there is Psychic Storm. Such a nasty ability that is. Las Cannon getting shots though from the Havocs on that Wraith Lord. Big chunks of damage as you see there, and that snaring of movement. Wraith Guard were just about to come in and demolish them, but now they can shoot down generators. The Shrine, which is suppressing these Dire Avengers here, will also go down. Will also periodically heal allied infantry, but there's none around to heal. That assault cannon tearing into that Warlock, who does have his champion's rope up, so we might see the Heart of Darkness accessory to synergize with that. 391, 301 is a 2-ton cap for blue team. Very close on VPs though. Wraith Lord has the shoulder mounted Bright Lance for green elite. So 2 Wraith Lords on the field now. No shoulder mounted weapon for Zenobians. Wraith Lord retains all of his melee effectiveness when he gets that shoulder mounted ranged weapon. One of his big perks. Generally lacks abilities though. Can get Wraithbone for a self heal in tier 3. But still a very solid walker. Here's a Nob Squad though from Sheffyy. Screw tier 2, get a Nob Squad. They have been heavily buffed. That's user choppers and Ard boys. That's 2 of the Warboss global buffs, and down goes the Wraith Lord. User choppers buffing damage and giving a huge buff to melee skill, meaning they basically cannot be the victims of a special attack. 391, 266. Dreadnought here doing well for Phoenician, buffing all of this stuff with that inspiration, and the inspiration from the Dreadnoughts is pretty tasty. It's quite sizable buffs, some suppression resistance and damage buff. Look at Durazell's Dreadnought, what is he doing? Trying to force melee combat on the Shuriken, I think. Bright Lance on the way here, so needs to be careful. He's pushing forward, I think, a bit too far. Now it's backing away. Missile launcher getting shots on Phoenician's Dreadnought. That multi-melter doing huge amounts of damage to all targets from close range. This thing hit level 2 as well. The other one is still in level 1, taking shots now from the Bright Lance. Look at the DPS from the Bright Lance. Massive damage to vehicles, but no snare, unlike a las cannon. For some reason, Zenobian is not pushing against this generator. Bring the Pain suffering. He's suffering big time. Lost his Havocs. Only has Chaos Space Marines, his Heretics, and his beefed up Plague Champion. Lost his turret, lost his Shrine. I don't think it's worth it. This build, I don't see the point of it. He doesn't have Banshees, Zenobian, and he's going to struggle to get into melee with very quick Dire Avengers. And there's a Wraith Lord to smack him as well. I don't know why he went for this build. Usually, I only use the Plague Fist, Pestilence, and Icon combo when I want a really powerful anti-melee. Very rarely do I pair it with the Mucus Discharge. She's already tough enough, I think, with Armor of Pestilence. But each to their own. We'll see how he does with it as the game goes on. He's floating a lot of resources there. Bring the Pain, saving up for a super unit. It looks like should get a Predator tank on the field, I think. 391, 193. Warboss takes down the Farseer again. How many times has she gone down? Warboss now in trouble though. Blue team pushing massively through. the mid, some friendly fire from the Wraith Guard there. Assault Marines jumping in, and here comes some Chaos Space Marines with Markov Tzeentch, and but no Eternal War. No Eternal War. They have the plus icon, but there is no insignia around their weapons. The plus icon just tells you that they have a mark in this instance. 391 181. Wraith Lord's gonna kill the Force Commander, or is it? That's the Plague Champion, sorry. And it does not. Wraith Lord lives. Plague Champion did go down. Almost dealt with it. I thought that was a Force Commander for some reason, even though it's on the opposite team. Infid sorted out. He's down at the moment. So is, in fact, all three blue team commanders are down. They need an Apothecary on their team for Laramans. This guy should be capping. Zenobian, where is his stuff? It's all being repaired and back at base. So why isn't he moving this guy to cap? We shall never know. The Eldar and their mysterious ways. Bring the pain with a great unclean one incoming, and Nob Squad almost whapping out a Shuriken very quickly there. And there's Frenzy and User Choppers. Terminator Squad on the field for Phoenician with Storm Bolters and Power Fists. Should he have got Assault Terminators to go toe to toe with the Nobs? Perhaps. A bit more versatility from the ranged Terminators though. It does have a Thunderhammer if he was up to disrupt them. You also have a Fire Prism from Green Elite, which can't save the Wraith Lord, but does start disrupting the Nob Squad. They need to stay the heck away from them though. 391 159. Now a very, very long retreat for this Nob Squad. Dreadnought of Durazell is still around, and Sheffyy gets a Pain Boy on the field out late to support those Nobs. Powerclaw Warboss level 4. He also has heavy armor, so he's hovering around 1900 hit points. And Bring the Pain brings his Great Unclean One to the middle. I thought he was going to go take the west side with it. Lost his Plague Champion again, and Zenobian will take it quite easily. 391 151 1-to-1 cap, and Chaos Predator on the way for Bring the Pain for some fire support alongside that. Great Unclean One can be very effective when everything's trying to play around your Great Unclean One to have that fire support in there. Big explosions and stuff. Great Unclean One passively damaging these little Eldar just from its sheer presence. And they shall know no fear on the Tactical Marines. Have that 50% knockback chance on melee attacks with that ability. It's really, really useful when they get jumped by something. Warlock level 2. No sign of the Heart of Darkness. 2-to-1 cap for blue team. Can they hold on here? Good engagement for red. But Bring the Pain needs to do something about that west side. Vanguard veterans on the field for Durazell. Look at the amount of resources Zenobian is floating. Could get an avatar pretty soon. Should he though? I think he should get another Fire Prism for his team. His teammate has one already, Green Elite. And Green Elite is not far off getting another Fire Prism for himself. Mass Fire Prisms, very hard to deal with in 3v3s if they're supported well. Down goes the Webway Gates. Some nice flanking play from or Sheffyy I should say. Guardian Weapon team are going to get absolutely owned by these Orks now. Or not. These Orks are a bit timid, not going in. There we go. And they are wiped out very, very quickly. Another Nurgle Shrine Chaos Space Marines capping. This Force Commander is still down deep in enemy territory, so I don't think he's going to be able to be revived there unless there's a massive push from blue, which we might see right about now. Devastator's still around for the Phoenician. He has the advanced targeting. Force Commander's back on his feet. Repurchased. Has the teleporter pack. Chaos Predator with Markov Tzeentch for Bring the Pain. Maybe he wants to hunt down that Fire Prism, otherwise I think Margot Korn is the better choice. There's a lot of infantry around. Dreadnought with the dark age of technology now for Durazell. Assault Marines initiating. Banshee's there though. Terminator's there. Warlock is there. Fire Prism just about lives. Here comes the Predator tank. Can it finish off the Fire Prism? Doesn't want to get closer. And those Vanguard veterans were wiped out, were they? Yes, they were. Did not support them quickly enough. There's a heal though on the Tactical Marines. Apothecary has the armor of the Apothecarian. Lots of fire now on the Great and Clean one. This is a super heavy infantry unit, so you don't need anti-vehicle weapons to take it down. It does have huge resistance to piercing weapons like bolters and the such as a super heavy infantry unit, but they can damage it reasonably effectively if they have lots of stuff shooting at it. This thing obviously huge size as well, so everything has very good accuracy against it. 347108. Level 2 Nob Squad going after the Terminators. Smack, smack, smack. Wonder what upgrade they got from the Pain Boy. Usually it's the best idea to give the +1 speed, and that might be what they have looking at them. I think it is. 34799, 2-to-1 cap. Fire Prism needs to keep moving, doesn't want to show its rear armor to a Nob Squad. That's a good push on Red Team again, but can they sustain any pressure on this VP? They haven't really been able to do that yet. West side has been retaken from Zenobian, who has an Avatar and some Dark Reapers. A good choice. Lots and lots of Inferno damage versus that Great and Clean one will do a lot of damage. Rear armor hit from that missile launcher. Look at the speed that the Apothecary has. When he has armor in the Apothecary, and that's not working correctly, is it? Because he was obviously shooting there and he was still moving with that +1.5 speed. Look at the speed! Sprinting around like a lunatic. Now he's backing off. 34780. 1-to-1 cap. It's only meant to give 1.5 speed. Oh, while in combat. Oh. You know, all this time I thought it was out of combat he gets that +1.5 speed. Silly, silly me. Then it is working correctly then. 33780. Wow. I thought it was designed for him to cover ground quickly to get off heals and stuff, but apparently not. It's so he can cover ground quickly to get off heals in combat. Down goes that Dreadnought, by the way. Avatar moving in, going after some Terminators. These are Durazells in huge amounts of trouble, deep in enemy territory. Do they have their teleport? Here comes a Nob Squad going after the Avatar, but there is the Wrath of Cain. Bang. Nob Squad with user choppers as a global buff from the Warboss, and there is Frenzy. User choppers lasts, I think it's like 20 on 25 seconds. It really is an awesome buff. Vengeance rounds from the Devastators. Surely they want to suppress them. There we go. 30580. Avatar lives for now. Fire Prism doing its thing. But this is a massive push on Red Team. They've taken Blue Team's natural. And where is Zenobian's, the rest of his stuff? It's hanging around here. Oh, greenelite just lost his Fire Prism. There it is. Nob Squad caught it. He should never have let that happen. 290-80. Red Team with a 2-to-1. And in a reasonable position here. Sheffyy doing very well with his Nob Squad. Has Pain Boy support. Has the allied Apothecary for support as well. Flash Gits are here. Have their Git Finders sticking with their snaz guns, I believe they're called. These crazy pimped out shooters that they have. 276-80. Bring the Pain loses his Great Unclean one and is looking very thin. Just Chaos Space Marines and a Chaos Predator. Howling Banshee's running after the Tactical Marines level 4, but they do get away. Now they turn onto the Flash Gits, do they? Yes, take a model there. Really painful to lose Flash Git models, giving your opponent 20 red, as you saw there. Only 3 models, so they can go down incredibly quickly. And here comes the Phoenician with double Tactical Marines, level 3 and level 3 with plasma guns on both. That's to try and deal with the enemy Nob Squad, I believe, because these guys are heavy infantry. They will take a lot of damage from plasma gun tactical marines, especially if they use Kraken bolts as well. Scouts still shooting away their sniper rifle, doing pretty well. Warboss charging in, running right into Devastators though and needs to retreat. Can the blue team bounce back, or are red team going to be able to keep the pressure up? Here's a Nob squad. There's a Pain Boy and there's advanced healing going off. Is there anything more scary than a Nob squad supported by an Apothecary? There's you to choppers yet again. How many times has he used it? I think, how much is it? I think it's 100 red. Might be even less than that though. 260, 78. Grenade on those tactical marines was pretty nice. Sneaky scouts backing off there. Devastators wiped out by the Nob squad. These guys going absolutely ballistic here. There's Ard boys now, 25% less damage these guys will take. And level 3 do their job again, blitzing the blue team and then back away. Terminator's getting that on-kill inspiration off. Double Chaos Predators showing up from Bring the Pain. Looks like red team are just going to focus mid. Zenobian needs to bring his stuff over, and here he is. There's the Farseer, level 5, and there's a time field going off. Arm of the Assyrian, and a really nicely timed Wailing Doom on all of the Orks. Nob squad forced off. That's a new Nob squad though. The level 3 guys are back at base. Pain Boy coming back out. He can't use his surgery again. 260, 40, 2-1 for blue team now. Can they see this out? Triple tanks here. Don't want to bunch up like that though with possible Eldritch Storms. In fact, Green Elite can use one here. Tactical Marines from Durazell. There's a Noxious Cloud, which is not going to do a whole lot, I don't think. Oh, maybe it did. Help take out a Wraith Guard, and there's Howling Banshees running right into it. Seer Council on the field for Green Elite, as you see. Awesome melee unit with a passive aerial effect buff, and you combine that buff with the Avatar's buff, and he has some crazy buffs going on for this Eldar stuff, and it also affects your allies. Down goes that Chaos Predator. Why was it that close? Did they both go down, or this one sit around? Heavily buffed Eldar. Look at this. They have the Sacred Standard downed buff as well. See a Council buff, Avatar buff. That is crazy. And Terminator is inspiring. How much extra damage are these guys doing? That's insane. Ripping apart those shooters. Devastators with the las cannon getting a shot on the Avatar. This is a 40% damage buff from the Force Commander's downed state with the Sacred Standard alone. Nob squad though with a very nasty flank. Good play from Sheffyy. With double Nobs running riot there. Now they both go after the Avatar. Can they avoid the Wrath of Pain? Looks like they're not even going to bother. Get a few hits in before it goes off. Look at the knockback strength. Avatar uses it to escape. Yes. Now they run after the Terminators, who can't retreat, but they can teleport away. There we go. 224, 18, 2-1 cap for the red. They have the west side back now. Fire Prisms are being chased down by the Chaos Predator. Las Cannon Predators are really bad news for Fire Prisms. I think they take them down with 2 rear arm hits. Fire Prisms only have 500 hit points, and easily dealt with there by the Marcus Inch Chaos Predator. Some flash kits over here as well. Sheffyy doing really well to support that side. Assault Terminators hit the field for the Phoenician. Should he have got them in the first instance? You can get some lightning claws up and really go to town on those Nobs. But this is a level 4 Nob squad now with Warboss and potential Apothecary support. Warboss revives the Apothecary. Does he get away? Level 6 is Apothecary now, so he has a big heal to fire off. 184, 18. A single cap for red. Blue team retaking west. Thanks to Zenobian. Flash kits are going to wipe out. Sheffyy not paying attention and loses them. Ouch. Plague Champion just level 3. And these Dark Creepers can suppress, and it's instantly forced off. Lightning Claw Terminators now. Massive power melee with splash, and there's an Eldritch Storm. Doesn't quite take out the Predator tank. This is a drop pod from Durazell, which will allow his allies to reinforce around it. Needs to take that thing down. Warboss dies thanks to the Lightning Claw Terminators. You can't level up. 4,500 hit points of super heavy infantry armor. Here come double knobs. How are they going to do here? Lots of support for them. They have some allied Terminators, some Seer Council as well, and a Warlock. And this knob squad at least is getting absolutely shredded here. Wow. Lightning Claw Terminators do not mess around. These guys popping Frenzy, going after the other Terminators. And there's the game for blue team. I didn't even realise that the VP counter was heading down there. We're just looking at that engagement. Is that an Eldritch Storm on the way? On top of this Land Raider? Might have been. Land Raider Phobos hitting the field at the end for Bring the Pain. But blue team take it with a 2-1. And it was mostly down to this west side. It pains me to say, Bring the Pain struggling here. The turret didn't pay off, as is often the case, which is why I rarely use turrets. Most of the time you just do not get value from them. And he's pretty much struggled after that. This loadout for the Plague Champion was a curious choice, I think. Didn't really pay off. Spent a lot of resources on it, but massive amount of press up from red team in the mid, but it wasn't enough. They held their VP long enough to get that 2-1 and take it. Really awesome game, and I learned something about the Apothecary. I was misreading this the whole time, or misremembering it or something. It's plus 1.5 speed in combat, not out of combat. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.